Good afternoon, everyone. It's noon in New York on a Tuesday, which means it's time for office hours with our hometown. Matt Larson here, reporting live to answer your questions on all things WordPress. Today, I am joined, as always, by our world-class customer support team, Terry and Vera. Welcome, both of you. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you, Matt.
Awesome. So I want to just open it up right away for questions here. So we got a bunch of people joining us on the call. So if you could just drop a hello in the questions area, or even if you have a question on something that you want to see today, this is an open office hours. So we don't really have a full demo scheduled for today necessarily. So definitely want to get that out there. So we'll be watching that closely. Let's see. Do we want to maybe, I was actually thinking we could start with the FAQs today. What do you guys think? Just talking about, you both had identified something in the tickets this week that you wanted to demonstrate. Can we maybe start with Vera? Do you want to show us, what was that? I forget what you wanted to show today for the FAQ.
Oh, that's okay. The test newsletters and the bylines for articles.
Right. Okay, great. Yeah, so can I have you share your screen and just show us what the question was and what, kind of what your answer was? I mean, because I'm assuming this was, a specific question that came from a publisher, right?
It was, yes. Let me bring up the tickets and then I'll share my screen.
Perfect. Okay, I'll just make you a presenter for a second. Okay, check out the questions here. Hey, Tom. All right, great. Hey, Allison, good to have you with us. Thank you. Jake. All right, thanks for joining us, man. So let's see here.
Matt, I think you made me a presenter.
I made you the presenter. Okay, yep. Let me make Vera the presenter here. So this is something that I use all the time for our newsletter, the test function. Now you're talking about not just sending out a single story, but the actual newsletter plugin, right?
That's correct.
Yep. Okay. Because as a reminder, we do have that. Oh, okay, no problem. We do have that confirmation message on the articles that comes up when you try to blast out a single article to your newsletter list.
Here we go. Okay. All right, it was for Western Ag Reporter, and he put, let's see here. I'm trying to find the beginning of it. I think this is it. Some changes need to be made in the newsletter. I cannot add emails of the people who should receive the test emails. So let's go to Western Ag just to demonstrate.
Okay, great. Yeah, test emails. You want to have this be your core group, especially if you're doing tests a lot. When we send out a newsletter, we send out 2 or 3 tests. So, you just want to be aware of that. You're going to set your newsletter list. You can change it at any time, but, it's a few steps to change it. So let's see. Actually, what is the best way to just see my newsletter list? I think there's a filter here, right? Where I can just...
I think it's, let me see. Yeah, here we go, list, right here.
Well, these are the lists that you manually create. I don't think the test is actually part of this.
No, that's the ones that are profile page of the.
I know that it will show you all the emails that it sent a test to when you actually send it. But go ahead and show me, how would you add an email to the list? Because that's the main question, right?
Right, exactly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Jared, since I know he's one of the staff there, and we're going to go into edit, and then we're going to scroll down, and then where you see where it says test subscriber, you want to make sure that that's yes. Once that's been changed to yes, you just hit the blue button to save, and then that's it. And the next time you send out a newsletter, the test group will get it first.
Right. And can you just remind us again how to send a test? Maybe just go to that page on a draft newsletter.
There we go, newsletters.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, and then trying to see, I don't think that's it.
So this newsletter has been sent already, right?
Right, exactly. Maybe if I duplicate
that's a good example. Right. It needs to be an email that has not been sent. You can't test something that's already been sent. That's a good note.
Okay.
There you go.
And then right here is the test option, and it shows all of the people that are going to be receiving it.
Right. Perfect. Very nice. Let's see. Yeah, so that's how you can get your lists. If you just need to double check who's on it, then add anyone, just search for their email and then modify the profile. Great. Okay, so while we have you with your screen up, did you want to show us something about bylines too?
Yes.
A common question.
John, let me see here. I think he was the last one down on this list. Poor John was so confused yesterday. Here we go. That's not the right one though. Basically, he was creating articles and the author and the byline was not matching up. So I'm just going to show you here in the articles section. Let me see here. There we go, articles. All articles. And I'm just going to pull one up as an example.
Okay.
So, let's see. Let's just do this one here. The other ones are a bit, I don't think that's a good example. But right here, you have your article. And if you scroll down, you should be able to, yeah, here's your subhead. And then here's where you would enter your byline.
Right.
And the difference between the byline and the author is what was confusing him. The byline is the person who composes the article. The author is the publisher of the article. So that's where he was getting turned around. He was thinking that it was showing, the person who was writing the article. He was putting the person who was publishing it. So we got that all straightened out. But I thought that would be a perfect example for office hours.
Yeah, a lot of people get confused by that, and it is a bit confusing because there's two places you can put an author, and they're called two different things. So what is the difference? I would also say that the byline it should be the person that wrote the article, but you could also use author and change the user. So can you scroll down to the author area? I believe that's a little lower. So you could create like Jesse could be writing the article and pasting it on the website and be the technical author, but then they could save it under someone else's name. So it's really just a matter of how you want the names to display. If you have first and last names under every author and you want to show an email like we have here, then we'll want to display the author on article widgets, right? But if you want to customize that byline every time and type it out specifically, like manually every time, maybe because you don't want to create users for all your authors. That's a common example. I've seen that. Then you can just use the byline, but you need to remember that you need to check to display byline on the article widgets, right? That's that on each article widget. So that's a really good example. Yeah, let's just go take a look at that really quick. Yeah, so if you decide, if your website has been set up to display authors and you decide you want to use the byline field and customize it, type it in every time and display that, then you've got to update all your widgets. So I think we could just look at a full width, whatever this slideshow is actually, can you scroll down on the right a little bit just so we can see more of the homepage? Okay. So go down a little bit more. Yeah, like cattle industry, that's not displaying anything right now. So let's say we wanted to display the author. How would we do that?
I'm trying to find where you are, Matt. Oh, right here. Okay.
Yeah. Cattle. Right.
I gotcha.
Yep. I'm just looking in this. I believe it's the slider widget, which should be up, I believe. at the very top. Main slider area, actually, down at the bottom there. Yep. So then we've got
cattle industry.
Cattle industry. Okay. So this is going to be on every article widget. Let's see. You can go down to show the
here's
author.
the author, and here's the byline.
Right.
If
so
you
it's
hit
not
those, it'll display them.
Right. It's an on-off switch for both. So you really just want to choose one of those. Okay. Now we won't obviously update anything on a live site, but you can just check that and hit publish and you would be done. Good. Okay. So let's see, open it up to questions over here. Any other questions yet? I was gonna maybe show this mobile presentation blog post next, okay? Because some people were actually asking about, because this was in today's newsletter. So let's talk about that for a second here, and then we'll go to Terry's FAQ. Okay, screen 2. Okay, whoops, wrong screen. There we go. So let's talk about this for a second. The mobile presentation, thinking around, just like always checking how your site looks on mobile, I think is really important. Is this something that, we see a lot of questions on, Terry, or is it more just like, something that, are people checking for this, you think, and then we give them advice, or is it more like users are giving them feedback? How is this? Yeah, how are people encountering this?
I think publishers are, or at least they have been concentrating on their desktop. And we're seeing a huge surge in mobile use. So now, if they mention it, we've been making a point to mention it to them just to keep their mobile view first in their mind, because so many people are mobile now. So, and there is a difference in how your website displays on desktop and mobile.
Right. I mean, you gotta remember, it's kind of a trade-off with mobile responsive websites, I think. It's for the most part, it's good, because you definitely don't want to spend time, updating 2 websites. But when you have a responsive site, you have to design it always with mobile in mind, and you got to always be testing it. So when we set up a site these days, there's a lot of focus on this. But some of our older sites that have been on WordPress for a couple of years now, and they've made changes since we originally set it up, it's just something that, to be aware of if you're changing the layout and the customize tool or anything. So let's just talk about some of the main points Jack brought up here. Using the customize tool to preview changes. So this is a good one. You could, even before you save changes in the customize tool, hit that mobile preview icon at the bottom of the widgets there and see how it would look on mobile. Because otherwise you got to publish it and then check on your phone on the live site. And that, it obviously isn't ideal. If we can test it before anything is live, that's going to be better. Okay. Efficient widget placement. This is something that comes up a lot, right, Terry?
Yes.
Because the way the widgets are laid out. So it's basically, the thing to keep in mind with this is everything's going to go top to bottom, left to right. It's in terms of those 3 columns, but sometimes there's widgets that take up 2 columns or even the full width of the website. So you just have to remember it's within every widget, left to right, top to bottom. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, any other advice on that? Because it's tough to generalize too much, because every site uses different widgets. But
yeah, there is a little bit of advice here. If you're using Chrome, there's a little trick in Chrome.
Okay.
So that if you click those 3 buttons where it says update, then you'll need to update, Matt.
Oh, okay. I need to update.
Go down to more tools.
Oh, wait. I will do that later. More tools. Okay.
And then go down to developer tools.
Right. So this is in your, a live site, with the changes already saved. You can preview it here, right?
Right. I think you need to go to elements. You go.
You can actually toggle it on any page.
I think
here.
it's console.
Right, but if you look right above, you see how you have your preview. Whoops, you have your preview there.
Yep.
Right above that is a little drop down that says responsive.
Right.
And you'll have options of which type of device that you know.
Oh, great. So if you get a user, complaining on a specific device, iPad Pro, that's nice.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
You
okay.
can use this too to get a preview of what your website looks like on other devices. If this is,
right.
I mean, I know Chrome offers this option. I'm not sure about other browsers.
Right. No, great tip. Yeah, because who has all these devices? No, that's a really good point. So
Just
ideally,
tidbit, iPhone 6, 7, 8 is the most common device.
Oh, okay. Is that according to some like survey or something?
Yeah.
Okay. This is cool. So this is simulating a phone. So it has just like this little shadow thing instead of an arrow.
You can see how your device or how your desktop would look on a phone when you're, keep in mind when you're arranging your widgets.
Right. I love it. No, that's a great tool built into every Chrome browser. Okay. Now I'll just exit out of there. I wanted to also point out, so this last thing, mobile ads and the placement of mobile ads, that's probably the one piece of advice that if we could give one tip, it would be watching, just keeping in mind where your ads are placed and which widgets they are, always remembering left to right, top to bottom, because you could have a widget that's, or an ad that's placed in a widget at the top of the right column, let's say. If it's at the top of the page, it's on the top of the desktop, yes, but it's arranged in the order of widgets, like actually near the bottom, because it's going to go top, bottom, left, right. So it's going to do this whole column first before it even starts the right column. So if you have a premium advertiser in there, you're going to need to do a little bit of a special arrangement with Ad Rotate Pro and groups. And we can help you with that. But it's just, if you're encountering that, where you place an ad where you think it's going to show up on the top and it's halfway down the page, that's what's going on. It just has to do with the layout of the widgets. So we can force it to behave the way you want.
That was a really good example page.
This one is? Yeah.
No, can you go? Yeah. If you open your widgets and look at this in mobile view,
right,
you'll see how the top part and then the ad.
That's exactly right. See, so many good things with this preview tool. So, okay, yeah, I loaded this ad up. Let's say I put it here, and let's say I wanted, let's say this ad right here. I want this actually, pretty close to the top. If I go to the preview in mobile, I would see right away that the leaderboard is way too small. So you would probably want to mute that ad on mobile and then run a more square ad on mobile instead, and not on desktop in that position. So you could use an ad group for that. But that's a perfect example of how you might want to modify it. But then you're searching for that red ad, and it actually ended up way down here, almost at the bottom. So you might want to tweak that using the same tools. All right, good one. Anything else on this? I know this comes up a lot. So any other tips on just how to place ads on mobile? I think just that tip of not using the leaderboard ad is smart, because again, with mobile responsive, it's going to readjust the size to make it fit. And that may not be legible.
I think the best tip to give about this is not to be afraid to play around, because unless, until you hit that blue publish button, nothing is going to be saved. So feel free to rearrange. And if you get lost in the woods somewhere, just exit out of the tool without hitting that publish button, and no changes will be saved.
Excellent. Yep. That's a great tip. The only way to learn this thing is to experiment with it. You're right. And nothing is going to auto save or anything like that. So feel free to do that. Okay, cool. So that was today's newsletter post. Just wanted to review that quickly. Before I pass it over to Terry for her FAQ, I wanted to just point out last week we had an update to our Matimo software, and unfortunately it was unavoidable. We did lose some data, but the good thing is it was only 25 minutes worth of traffic. So there will be a blackout on your reports during that period, but it's an insignificant amount of time if you're reporting your monthly stats to advertisers or anything like that. Like I said, unfortunately, it wasn't unavoidable with this update. So just in case you noticed that, I think that's probably good for now. We got a bunch of other blog posts out there. We're doing some cool things like getting into other people's podcasts and trying to take away some tidbits from these. This is the Editor and Publisher podcast. I'm listening to this every week now. It's produced by Mike Blinder. We talked about this last time. He's a great host, has a lot of good guests. And a couple of weeks ago, he had this really cool hour-long interview with a bunch of people from LMA, The Atlantic, Neiman Journalism Lab. Just some interesting takeaways from that. So kind of a new thing that we're trying with the blog is just these podcast reviews. Okay, I think that's good for me. I don't think we have any other unanswered questions. So Terry, mind if I turn it back to you and just take us out here with your FAQ for today?
Sure.
Awesome. So.
Okay, so one of the very common questions that we get is, what size should I make my ads?
Right.
Your site is mobile or is responsive. It's gonna, if you have a 600 by 600 ad, it's gonna shrink that ad proportionately to fit your column.
Right.
So if you have your default sidebar, the width of that column is 300 pixels wide.
Right.
Typical ads are 300 by 300. Your tower is 300 by 600. About that. Leaderboard is 728 by 90. And we're seeing an increase in the number of people that are looking for a full width ad. Full width ad, or the full width of your site. I think Henrico has one here. Yep.
Oh, it's nice. I love the way that looks. There's a little white border, and then there's that other ad too.
Yep.
It's cool.
And well, Tom's got the takeover ad running here.
Right.
Pretty much, but you can see it matches up pretty much to your site or to your menu bars. So that's proportionately, that's about a 1250 by 160. Okay. We're seeing a lot of that. And this works well if you're placing it, in between, like Rockaway does here, I think. Isn't that what you hit up here? It'll shrink down.
There you go.
Okay.
You
don't want to have your ads too big. You don't want to create 25,000 pixel wide ads because that will slow down loading time.
Right. Okay. That's a good point. Yeah, you got to think about resolution. Allison's asking, what is the dimension for full width? What was that again? 1250?
1250 by 160. That is proportionate to your 728 by 90. So if you have a 1250 by 160 ad and you want to put it in a 728 by 90 space, it's going to shrink down to 728 by 90.
I see. To shrink it down.
So yeah, it's smart to make all your leaderboards 1250 by 160.
Right. Design them like that, and then you can always shrink them down if you need to. So 1250 is the answer.
Yep.
1250 pics.
So those are the most common ads. You can use smaller ads. Your island ads sometimes are 160 wide, so that would be a skinnier ad.
Yeah, right. No, it's much skinnier. I don't see a lot of that. What did you call it again? It's an
island ad.
Oh man, yeah. I feel like I have not seen one like that. Yeah, it's something like that. It's just
I'm starting to see an uptick in these because they actually do stand out. People have sort of gotten visually blind to the sidebars, but if you stick a 12 or a 160 wide ad in there, it breaks up 300 with monotony.
Right.
Yeah,
the only thing, right. No, just this is all really good because we keep talking about the same thing over and over. The mobile presentation, that would be my only thing. That is not going to be best for mobile. You're going to really want to have a separate ad, right?
300 by 300 works best for mobile. It doesn't take over the entire screen, but it's big enough to see on a mobile screen. So 300 by 300.
I agree with that. Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing to think about is that, you don't ever want an ad taking over your whole mobile screen, so that's definitely what would happen with a tall ad like that. But cool. Okay. Yeah. Whatever stands out is what we want to do. And sometimes going back to old, standards is what happens.
Yeah,
okay, cool.
This uses the full width.
So the full width, so that is defined as 1250, even though, what if you zoom, can you zoom the display so it increases?
What do you mean?
Well, let me just try it myself. I'm just curious.
Another little tip that I want to include here is this ad, I can tell, is already bigger than the sizes I listed. But if you're on Chrome, if you right-click the ad.
Right.
Oh, mine's not working right now. It's just going to take me there. It always has something going on here where I can't right-click.
Huh.
Scott, here, hold on a second. You right-click the ad. Tom, I have to move my bar here a second. Give me.
No problem.
Bear with me. Where's my close on this? There we go. Right-click the ad. Go down to inspect, and it's going to open up that console just like you saw on. Choosing your mobile view. It's going to give you a whole bunch of stuff over here.
Okay.
If you scroll down. Give this a second. If you scroll down in this box, this is the size of the ad. So this was a bad example, I guess. It's not going to work.
Are you just trying to figure out how to measure how wide an ad is?
Yep. This will give you the size of your ad. So if you want to match up the size, what size is this ad I'm using right now? Here's your size. This ad right here.
Oh, that's kind of neat. I didn't know about that. Yeah.
Okay. So just right click.
Do that one more time for me. Right click and then inspect.
Right click. Inspect. We're looking at the leaderboard. And this leaderboard is 728 by 90.
Cool. Nice. Okay.
You just scroll down in that console box and to get your little diagram here.
Right. Okay. Nice.
Can actually get any
web development tools there today.
The
console. Yep. Oh, that's really neat. I never really used that to identify things. I would normally right click and download it or something.
This looks like a 728 by 90 in the sidebar. Oh, it's 320 by 50. Okay. This one right here.
It's just a little bit bigger than, so it is being resized. Look at that. See, it shows how big it was, right? Or is it being cut off? It shouldn't be cut off.
No, that's the actual size. The ad was made that size.
Why does that blue go off the screen, though, there a little bit?
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Kind of weird.
And this one is 300 by 368.
Right.
Okay. That one's a little bigger. That one's 300 by 425. So that's a neat little tip. If you're ever wondering what size you made the ad last time and what offer. Oh, there's a different one.
Or on any website, you just want to see how big is this ad so that it looks like that. I want that to. I want to do that on my site. This one
is 300 by 120.
Right. Yeah, that's more of like a business card ad or something. All right, great. Let's open it up one more time for any last questions, and then I think we can wrap it up for today. I didn't really have, I don't think, any other blog posts to highlight for now, but as always, check out the newsletter. We're doing it once a week now, every Tuesday. We're trying to condense it a little bit more and just get more in there. So it's just a weekly update. Give us any feedback you have on that. Any other topics you want to hear about in these sessions? Would love to hear your feedback. So unless there's any last questions, I think we'll wrap it up for today. You guys
I just
good?
have
Anything
one comment, if that's all right.
Go ahead. Sure. Yeah, go ahead, Vera.
If Terry scrolls down, during that webinar with Kevin Slim, he mentioned people doing birthday clubs, and the Wave is currently using that. So Terry, could you scroll down just a little bit?
Clubs.
It's right there on the Wave's website that you're on. It's down a little bit further. Right there. There it is, right there.
So
I just wanted to mention that people took it to heart.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess so, or maybe they had this idea on their own. I don't know. Allison, did you hear about this in Kevin's session? Because let's take a look at that really quick. I do have to wrap it up here in a minute, and I'm gonna have to go. But go ahead and click that birthday club.
I just thought it was really cool.
Form looks like. So this is her project. This is special form. Is this through Second Street or something like that? Or it doesn't look like our form system. So I know you used Second Street before. It is cool. Yeah, we should take a look at how they're doing this, because I mean, a lot of what Second Street does is just makes it really easy to create these features and forms and promotions. So if we can make it easier with our forms tool, we should. So let's take a look at what Allison's doing here. I got to take off for today, but it was good talking to you guys. Let me know if you have any FAQs that you want to go through next week too, okay? Let's keep that list rolling. Keep an eye out for that. All right, thanks a lot. Thanks for coming.
Okay, thanks,
everyone.
everybody.
Appreciate it. Appreciate your questions, Allison. Talk to you later.